Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make these bowling pins. I will do a separate video on how to do this bowling ball, but for the bowling pins you'll need 42 white bands and 2 other color bands, whether it's red. I did it in different color just to show you the options. And the base here I use 4 bands to make it a little more tapered for the bowling pin look. But it's a little bit harder to put down to play your game, and you can also use 6 bands to create a sturdier base, so when you put it down it's a lot easier. This one you kind of have to make sure you place it very carefully for it to stand. However, when you start bowling, the one with this tapered end will topple over a lot easier than the one with the bigger base. So you can choose however many bands you want to use in the beginning. So let's get started. To make the bowling pin, we're taking a single white band, twist, double, and I'm crossing in the center from one peg to the other, pushing it down, and we'll do this with 4 single bands. Single, twist, double, and crossing in the center from the side to the center second peg. Repeat for the other sides, and if you want to make the bigger base bowling pin, then you'll need a total of 6 bands in the beginning, so 2 extra bands at the beginning. Once again, single, twist, double, cross in the center to cover 4 pegs. So this is the tapered bowling pin. That's row number 1. Row number 2, we're taking a single white band and covering the 4 pegs. And we're going to loop the bottom 2 bands, or this time the bottom 4 bands, up and over onto the center of our creation. Reach in and pulling those bands up and over. And we should be left with 2 loops on each peg. Push it down. That's row number 2. Let's expand row number 2 to 6 pegs, taking the 2 loops off of the center second peg and pulling it onto the center third peg. Now we want to pull a single band off of the side first peg for both sides, and making sure that the other end is attached to the first center peg. So reaching in, check, this one is connected to the first center peg, and pulling it to the side second peg. So my left side is done. I have a single band or a single loop on each of those pegs. The other side, the right side, same thing. Take a loop off, check to make sure it's attached to the first peg, and mine is, so I'm going to pull that to attach it to the second side peg. Once again, the right side now has a single loop per peg, and my bands are now spread over 6 pegs. Row number 3, I'm going to take once again a single band covering now 6 pegs, creating a hexagon and looping the bottom 2 bands up and over, leaving 2 loops per peg. And we're going to be doing this for row 3 through 6. So since we expanded the second row, we have a single band on the first and second peg on both sides, and 2 on the center pegs. Push it down and you should be left with 2 loops per peg. And once again, we're going to be looping a single band covering the 6 pegs, creating our hexagon. And now this is row number 4. I'm going to repeat this for row 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to fast forward. Finishing up row number 6, push it down and we are going to reduce, taking a single band off of the side first peg on both sides, and we want to pull the one that's attached to the second peg. So going into your first side peg, grab a loop and check this one is attached to the first center peg. I do not want that one. I'm setting it in the center to hold, and taking the second loop off of the first side peg. It's attached to the side second, and looping that onto the center first. And taking this off the center and reattaching it to where it belongs on the side first peg, and pulling the loops off of the side second peg and attaching it to the side first peg. So all of my bands are off of the side second peg. Repeat on the other side, same thing. Pull a single band off of the first side peg, and it's attached to the center. We don't want that one. Put it aside. Pull the remaining band off. It's attached to the side second, and attaching that to the center first peg. And let's reattach the one we moved off. So it's back on the side first, and moving the two loops off of the second side peg and attaching it to the first side peg. So my second pegs have no loops on them, and now we want to pull these two loops off of the center third, pulling all our bands off of our center second peg, and then attaching these loops that we took off the center third onto the center second peg, and we're now down to 4 pegs. And let's push our bottom of our pin to the side so we have room to work with. Push it all down. So that was row number 6. Row number 7, we're taking 2 single white bands and covering all 4 pegs. Just pull it around like that, and we're going to go in, grabbing the bottom bands, pulling it up and over to the center for all 4 pegs, getting them onto the 2 bands we just looped on. Make sure you go on the outside, grabbing all the bands and looping it up and onto the center. That's row number 7. You should have 2 loops left per peg. Row number 8, we're taking a single band, twist, double. We're still working with white, and once again we're going to cover all 4 pegs. Stretching it out, looping the bottom 2 bands up and onto the center of our creation. And push it down when you're done. Pull it out. Row number 9, I'm going to add my stripes for my bowling pin, and you can use the same color or whatever color you want. I'm going to use black this round. So taking a single black, twist, double, covering all 4 pegs. Once again, loop the bottom 2 bands up and onto the center. I try to do this center first peg last because it's the tightest. It's harder to grab those bands. Push it down. Taking a single white band, twist, double for row number 10, and you can make your stripe in any order that you want. You don't have to have 2 stripes. You can have one thick one in the center if you want. Just then looping the bottom 2 bands up and over and onto the center. push it down. Row number 11, I'm taking a single black, twist, double, covering all 4 pegs, looping the bottom 2 bands up and over. And here you can use a different color if you want. If you don't have to use 2 of the same colors. You can make your pin whatever color you want. That was row number 11. Row number 12 will be my last white, taking a single band, twist, double, once again covering the 4 pegs. Push it down, pull it out. Row number 13, this is our final row. We're taking a single white band, 4 of them, covering the 4 pegs. Go around your loom, and then pulling the bottom bands up and over, leaving 2 loops on each peg. Push it down. We're ready to take our pin off our loom. So taking your hook, grabbing the 2 loops, going clockwise on your loom, taking the 2 loops off of each peg, getting it onto your hook, and taking a single band and getting those loops onto the single band and tying a slip knot. There's my bowling pin, and tuck in your slip knot band or charm string. There's our bowling pin, and make sure you have a flat surface to place it on, and you can test it out by putting it on a flat surface, and if it's wobbling one way, just pull the bottom. So that way it will stand for you. It will stand for you like that, and you'll need to make a total of 10 pins for your bowling game. I hope you like them. Thanks for watching.